Ever wondered why you keep putting off important tasks? Is it just about laziness or lack of willpower? Well, let's dig deeper. Procrastination is a term we toss around quite casually, often with a sheepish grin or a shrug. But it's more than just a simple reluctance to get to work. It's a complex behavior that's intricately tied to our emotions. Now, you might ask, how can delaying a task be emotional? Good question. To understand this, we need to visit the minds of psychologists Albert Ellis and William Naus. In their exploration of procrastination, they define it as the delay of a task until discomfort or negative feelings set in. Think about it. When you put off a task, it's not because you forget about it or because you're too busy. It's because you're not in the right emotional state to tackle it. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed or you're unsure of how to proceed, or maybe you're just plain scared of failing. Whatever the reason, it's an emotional response that's causing you to procrastinate. And here's another little nugget of truth. Procrastination isn't a character flaw or a sign of laziness. It's a learned behavior. That's right. It's not something you're born with. It's something you pick up along the way as a response to certain emotions or situations. So, if you've been beating yourself up over your procrastinating habits, it's time to give yourself a break. It's not a personal failing. It's a habit you've picked up, and like any habit, it can be unlearned. Understanding this is the first step towards overcoming procrastination. It's not about forcing yourself to get to work. It's about understanding why you're not getting to work and addressing that. In the next few minutes, we'll delve deeper into the various types of procrastinators and the emotional triggers that lead to this behavior. So buckle up. It's going to be an enlightening ride. Procrastination is more than just a bad habit. It's a complex behavior rooted in our emotions. Now, let's talk about the toll procrastination takes. It's a silent thief, quietly robbing us of time, productivity, and ultimately, our peace of mind. But the damage doesn't stop there. Procrastination is like a stealthy shadow, subtly creeping into our lives and leaving a trail of chaos in its wake. Think about it. When we delay tasks, we're not just pushing back deadlines or risking financial setbacks. We're also sacrificing our happiness and well-being. Every task we put off festers in the back of our minds, creating a constant hum of stress and anxiety. This not only affects our mental health, but also takes a toll on our physical health, leading to issues like insomnia, digestive problems, and even heart disease. Consider the extreme case of someone who, overwhelmed by the daunting task of filing their taxes, puts it off for 15 years. It's not just about the penalties and interest that accrue over time. It's about the constant fear and anxiety that lurk in the background, casting a dark shadow over their everyday life. But here's the kicker. Procrastination is often a misguided attempt to avoid discomfort. We think we're sparing ourselves the stress of tackling a challenging task, but in reality, we're merely trading momentary relief for long-term distress. This creates a vicious cycle, where the action we take to avoid discomfort, in turn, becomes a significant source of discomfort. Procrastination often stems from trying to avoid discomfort, creating a vicious cycle that affects our emotional well-being. Meet the neurotic perfectionist, the individual who dreams big but struggles to finish. This character is often caught in a continuous loop of revision and refinement, their quest for perfection becoming a form of procrastination. Now, you may be wondering, how does striving for excellence turn into a delay tactic? Well, it's not about the pursuit of quality, but rather a fear of inadequacy. You see, the neurotic perfectionist is often plagued by an underlying sense of not being good enough. They believe that anything short of perfect might expose them to criticism or worse, confirm their self-doubts. So they revise, they refine, they tweak, again and again, polishing their work to a high shine. But in their quest for perfection, they lose sight of the finish line. The task becomes a never-ending cycle, each iteration leading to more self-doubt and further delays. Does this sound familiar? If so, you might be a neurotic perfectionist. But don't worry, there's a way out. The first step is to recognize that this need for perfection is a shield, a defense mechanism against feelings of shame and inadequacy. The second step is to shift your priorities. Move your focus from perfection to completion. Accept that good enough is indeed good enough. Remember, perfection is an illusion. a mirage in the desert of productivity. It's time to quench your thirst with the refreshing reality of completion. The key to breaking the cycle? Recognizing that you are enough and shifting priorities from perfection to completion. Next up, the Chronic Worrier. We've all known a chronic worrier in our lives, or perhaps we are one ourselves. This is the person who, like our friend John, spent 3 long years preparing for a career switch but never quite found the courage to take that leap. The chronic worrier's life is dominated by a fear of failure, the unknown, and rejection. They dwell in a world of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, often leading to a state of over-preparation or what we call analysis paralysis. This is a condition where the fear of making the wrong decision prevents any decision from being made at all. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself stuck in a cycle of overthinking, unable to move forward because you were too worried about all the things that could go wrong? It's like being stuck in a maze with no exit in sight. But here's the good news. This cycle can be broken. The first step? Accepting that some degree of risk is inevitable. It's part of life, part of growth. It's about building faith in your own abilities, trusting that you can handle whatever comes your way. Remember, progress, not perfection, is the goal. It's about taking small, consistent steps towards your dreams, even when they seem scary. So, are you ready to step out of the maze and into the ring? The solution? Accepting some risk, building faith in yourself, and getting into the ring. Ever feel a sense of defiance towards your work? Enter the rebellious procrastinator. This character is not your typical time waster. They're the ones who, driven by resentment and frustration, reject or passively resist tasks. It's not that they can't do the work, but they choose not to. This rebellion can stem from a variety of sources. Maybe they feel the task is beneath them, or it's not aligned with their passions. Perhaps they feel they're not being recognized or valued enough. Whatever the reason, they respond with a silent protest, a withdrawal of their efforts. But here's the twist. The rebellious procrastinator often ends up blaming others for their circumstances. The boss is too demanding, the deadlines are unrealistic, the work is uninspiring. This blame game becomes a coping mechanism, a shield against the uncomfortable truth that they are not taking control of their lives. But this blame game is a trap. It keeps the rebellious procrastinator stuck in a cycle of resentment and inaction. It hinders progress and prevents them from tapping into their true potential. So what's the way out? The key is forgiveness, letting go of anger and resentment, accepting the situation and focusing on what they can change, and most importantly, liberating their strengths and passions. The rebellious procrastinator has a lot to offer. They just need to channel their defiance into something productive. The key is forgiveness, letting go of anger to liberate your strengths and passions. How can you ease the transition to a procrastination-free life? Let's explore 2 unexpected strategies that may just be the key to unlocking your potential, addressing physical discomfort and escaping isolation. First, consider the physical aspect. It's easy to overlook, but our bodies can often dictate how we feel and function. Discomfort, whether it's a throbbing headache or merely an uncomfortable chair, can be a significant distraction, leading us to put off tasks. So let's flip the script. Make your environment conducive for productivity. This might mean investing in an ergonomic chair, ensuring you're adequately hydrated, or simply taking regular stretch breaks. Remember, your body is the vehicle that carries your brain, the powerhouse of your productivity. Treat it well. Second, let's talk about isolation. When we're alone with our thoughts, it's almost too easy to spiral into a vortex of overthinking and worry. This is especially true for our chronic worriers and neurotic perfectionists. We start to play the what-if game, and before we know it, we're paralyzed by our own thoughts. The remedy? Connection. Reach out to others. Share your thoughts, fears, and ambitions. You'd be surprised how much a fresh perspective can help break the cycle of procrastination. In conclusion, take care of your body and strengthen connections with others to break free from the what-if questions that plague chronic worriers and perfectionists. In our final stretch, remember, procrastination is a complex behavior rooted in basic emotions. From the neurotic perfectionist to the chronic worrier and the rebel without a cause, it's clear that understanding the emotional roots of procrastination is the first step towards overcoming it. Tackling physical discomfort, escaping isolation, and fostering self-awareness are essential strategies. Release stored emotions in the body, connect with others, and remember, you are enough to overcome procrastination.